Hey, we got a ACT practice question here. They're asking us for what value of x is the equation x minus 1 squared equal to x minus 7 squared true. So we could try to take the square root of both sides. That's a little tricky though. You got to be a little careful with that. You can't just take out the squares and call it a day and then say x minus 1 equals x minus 7. You could do something like that. You could say it would equal plus or minus x minus 7. And we could run from there. However, I would say it's probably a little bit easier just to go back to the original equation and just ask yourself what number, if I plug it in here, would potentially work. And let's start with what's probably the easiest number to work with, which would be 0. If I were to plug in 0, I get 0 minus 1 squared, and I'm checking to see if that's equal to 0 minus 7 squared. That's not going to happen. That's 1 squared, and 7 squared. That would actually be the same thing. I know it's negative 1 squared and negative 7 squared, but regardless, you could actually change that to 1 squared equals 7 squared. Anyway, that's definitely not true, so that means it's definitely not 0. Okay, now out of all these other numbers, I would say 4 is probably the next easiest one to try. So we could try that. Let's try putting in a 4 where we see the x. So that would mean you'd get 4 minus 1 squared, and we're checking that versus 4 minus 7 squared. Okay, so this one gets you negative 3 squared, and this one gets you 3 squared and negative 3 squared. Those will end up being the same thing, so that is our answer right there.